Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica and this is my kitchen. I'm happy that you're here. It's a wonderful day. So blessed to be here and canning and just thankful to God. Amen. So today I am canning some pickled peppers. I'm going to start out by making my brine. This is just 8 cups of filtered water. I use filtered water because I'm on city water. And also I'm going to use 8 cups of vinegar. It's going to be a mix of white vinegar and apple cider vinegar because that's what I have. And I just want to finish off these jugs of vinegar. You can use any kind of vinegar that you want. Just make sure it's at least 5% acidity. And I need a little bit more vinegar, so just 1 second. Here is 8 cups of vinegar to my 8 cups of water. Now I need 8 teaspoons of sugar. This is just raw sugar. And I need 8 teaspoons of salt. This is just kosher salt. You can use pickling salt, whatever salt. Probably not iodized salt. And that's it. I'm going to put this on the stove to heat up just long enough to get my salt and my sugar dissolved. And I'll be back when I'm doing something else. I have some clean jars here, and then I have peppers. These were from our garden last year, and we just sliced them and put them in the freezer. I took them out last night to thaw so that I could turn them into pickled peppers this morning. So I'm going to put my peppers in the jar, and these are just a mix of all the peppers from our garden. There's probably jalapenos and maybe some banana peppers, all the things. I'm just going to get them in the jar, and then I'll fill my next jar. So when canning your pickled peppers, seasoning is completely up to you. You can add seasoning if you want. You don't have to. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic and a little bit of dehydrated onion. But again, you do not have to. Probably going to do about a teaspoon of each. See how it goes. But you could just do plain peppers in the jar and that's fine. Or you can add red pepper flakes. You could add pickling spice or mustard seed. It's completely up to you. Seasoning is all your preference. You could also use dried garlic or fresh garlic. You could use fresh onions. And be creative in your kitchen. Now I'm going to add about a teaspoon of dehydrated onion. Now I'm going to get my brine. So my pickling brine is heated just enough to let the salt and the sugar dissolve. And because these were frozen peppers, I'm not concerned that, you know, the crunch or whatever. It's just going to be delicious peppers. So, and we use them for like on top of nachos or on sandwiches or tacos, whatever you would use any other kind of pickled pepper for. That's what we use them for. So I'm going to fill with my brine up to 1/2 inch of headspace and debubble really well. You will have to let me know what you're canning, what you're doing. I have just been going through my freezer and seeing how I can make space because I'm thinking about the garden and what we're going to plant, and I try to make space for the harvest. You got to make space for your harvest. All right, I'm going to see if I need to top anything off, and then I'll get my lids and get these closed up. I have extra brine, so I'm going to get out a couple of jars and put the brine in the jars. I save my extra brine because during the harvest, if I'm having to preserve anything really quickly, or let's say I just have a few peppers that need to be pickled or a few carrots that need to be pickled or whatever, since my brine recipe is usually always the same, either it's a sweet brine or it's a sour brine, I just label the jar with the brine in it, whether it's sweet or a sour brine. And then I can use it when I'm having tons of harvest from the garden to preserve. So I'm going to get a couple jars and put my leftover brine in them. Got my lids and my rings, and I'm just cleaning the rims of my jars really well with some white vinegar. I always use white vinegar. If you don't, that's okay. Some people just use water. Some people use vinegar and water. Just make sure that you get the rims of your jars clean. I always love the way anything pickled looks in a jar. It's just beautiful. It's really simple to do. If you've never canned anything before, pickling vegetables is a great way to start. Because legitimately all you have to do is cut up your vegetables and put them in a jar, add some brine, and put them in the canner for like 15 minutes. Good way to start, good way to learn. All right, I'm gonna get these in the canner. My water bath canner is full. I have like warm water in here because my jars were warm. And I'm going to turn it on. I have a rack in the bottom, and I used just a little bit of vinegar left over from wiping the jars, and I put that in here, so there's a splash of vinegar. Everything is covered by at least 1 inch of water. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and I'm going to process at a boil for 15 minutes. I'll be back when I'm taking them out of the jar, when I'm taking them out of the canner. So my timer went off, and I turned everything off. I took the lid off, and we've just been waiting a couple of minutes. Whenever you are canning, whether it's your pressure canner or it's your water bath canner, you want to wait and give everything a little bit of time to acclimate a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to end up with lots of siphoning. Not saying that you won't end up with siphoning anyway, but you end up with lots of siphoning if you don't wait a few minutes. So it's worth it just to wait a few minutes. And we're going to take them out. But these are just going to sit here on my counter overnight. They're going to relax and seal, and in the morning I'll come in, I'll take the rings off, and I'll wash everything up, and we'll put them in the pantry. I hope this blessed you. I hope it encouraged you. Don't be afraid to try canning, okay? The worst that can happen is you end up with some wonderful food, but you don't particularly enjoy canning. It's just a blessing to my family to be able to know what goes into our food and know where it came from, because we grew it. And it's just a blessing. So be so blessed. Know that you're loved, and be a blessing to someone else. We'll see you in the next video.